One young man who has been certainly playing some really good consistent footy over the last couple of years now is Chris Mayne, Belly, and he joins us on the program. How are you, Mayne?
How you going, boys?
Good, mate.
Chris, congratulations on the game on the weekend. Although from a spectator point of view, it didn't reach great heights. I thought it was as disciplined as an effort that I've seen Fremantle play in the whole of Ross Lyon's time at the club.
Yeah, we had pretty strong focuses going into the game that we wanted to play it on our terms. And that was to make it a contested game. We know how quick they are on the outside and how they can cut teams apart. So we thought going into the game, let's make it a four-quarter effort with predictable football for ourselves, but also locking it down and making it a congested game, knowing that the conditions are pretty dewy at night time and it can get a bit fumbly.
You're probably a little bit short on key forwards with Pav out, and you've had to step up to the mark there. But one area that you're really strong in at the moment is in the small forward department. It was another step forward, I thought, for Sun Walters on the weekend. He's set for a really big year. The challenge for him now is to play the whole year consistently, and he could have just a breakout year. Yeah,
I think it's important to notice that he's having a good start to this year, but the way he finished last year was terrific. It did take him a wake-up call to understand exactly what it is to play AFL football, and that did come from Ross and the senior players. And for him to go away and then to realise what football meant to him, to come back and play the footy he has been excellent for the footy club, but also to lead other small forwards like Max Duffy and Hayden Crozier and to get those blokes playing the sort of brand of footy that we want to play. And we can't ask much more from himself, Ballas, Hayden Crozier as the small forwards at the effort they're putting in with their pressure and then also getting on the scoreboard. And like you said, with 12 forwards pretty limited at the moment, it's good to see blokes like Jack Hanneth and Silvani really step up on the weekend and play the way we want them to play.
Now, talking of key forwards, we've been having a lively discussion with our listeners regarding Buddy Franklin. Now, if Buddy Franklin was to come to Fremantle, would you feel comfortable just telling him to go and start in the forward pocket?
Well, I don't think that's definitely going to happen, that's for sure, knowing what Ross and the coaching staff have said of late and the club that we're not interested in him. But look, wherever he decides to do and whatever he decides to do with his football career, I think just best to luck for him.
Yeah, now Luke McFarlane said that he'd like him there because then he doesn't have to play against him. You'd probably feel a little bit sorry for a couple of your backmen when they do have to line up on the big fella.
Oh, there's a lot of great tall forwards in competition that Luke McFarlane and the rest of the backmen really do have trouble with, but they always give great effort, which we expect of them. And to always stop them, it's always about first stopping their midfield and the way the ball's delivered inside forward 50. So for a whole team effort, it does help out the backs. But, some of the key forwards going around at the moment are challenging.
Now, mate, you've been playing what I would call ugly footy, but effective footy. Defensively across the field, you've been great. And certainly that pressure in the forward line that you've been part of has been tremendous. I just look at this Collingwood side, and I look at the likes of Swan and Pendlebury and Sidebottom and Daisy Thomas, who was let roam free across half-back. I thought that was a big mistake in the opposition they played last week. And, of course, Travis Cloke didn't have the radar on, mate, but 4 goals, 5, certainly going to be a key player who you're going to have to control.
Yeah, you look at their midfield, as you just mentioned, with the likes of Swan, Pendlebury, Sidebottom and Thomas delivering the ball inside forward 50. That's the first thing, you have to limit their inside 50s also, but also pressuring them as well, making sure they're not easy inside 50s, because if Cloke can do that, as a backman knows, it's pretty tough to stop decent balls coming inside 450. So we have got a challenge on our hands, something that we're looking forward to, and of recent they have got hold of us, but at our home ground, we just have to know it's going to be a challenge. We're going to make it a dogfight, as you've explained, and try and keep it locked in and play the way we want to play.
You mentioned the home ground, Chop. Obviously, your form here this season's been outstanding with just the one aberration against Essendon where they just got a hold of you late.
Yeah, it's obviously that game was disappointing, one that we definitely should have won. But it is our home ground, and we want to try and build that pressure that when teams do come across, that they know it's going to be a dogfight. And knowing that it is our home ground, we have our great support, which are our fans that are always behind us. And when they do get loud, it does make a challenge for other sides. And with them behind us and the rest of WA, we do feel that we have a really strong home ground advantage.
How's Anthony Morabito going, Chris?
Yeah, all reports he's gone really well. I think all the boys that are in rehab at the moment are working really hard with the physios and fitness staff to make sure they can get back as soon as possible. And that's all we can hope. We want them to take their time to make sure that when they do come back, they are right and they're ready to go.
Mate, when you look at the real improvement across the board of a number of you and your teammates, what do you put that down to? I mean, look at, and I want to give you some names here: Clancy Pearce, Michael Walters, in particular. Those two boys have really been wonderful. Outstanding in the positions that they play.
Thinking off the top of my head, those two players you did mention did get a wake-up call about their careers and what is expected of them with weight, skin folds, persistence in training training with excellence. And for those two players, exactly, they took that to heart, went away, got their bodies in shape to start with, and then put their heads down, bums up into training. And Ross and the coaching staff really only ask a couple of things of us, which is great effort and playing your role. And when you have two clear focuses like that, you know that when you go out to play footy, or even train is where it starts, is that you want to give great effort in everything you do. Nothing's mediocre. And I think amongst the playing group, that's been a big change of where, we train the way we want to play, and to be able to put that into practice means that when we do it during training, we can do it during the game. And it's not one of those things that you think, if you don't do it during training, that you're going to turn it on game day, because it just doesn't happen. So to make that transition amongst the whole playing group has been extremely important in the last couple of years, and for us to keep going forward, we have to keep doing it.
Now, a friend of mine loves you guys, loves Fremantle, loves Hayden Ballantyne, was sitting in the forward pocket a fortnight ago and reckons that Ballas was running in and he was sort of squealing like a pig. He was making noises. Does he actually, when he comes into contest, does he actually make noises, or is that not true? Or is it somebody else?
Look, when Ballas hits blokes, with that ferocity and power that he does have, the opposition sometimes make noises. But,
he doesn't come in like, "Ee!" or anything. He doesn't make sort of any strange sounds. He's made that up, has he?
I think he does things to intimidate his opponents at times.
Yeah.
We have seen what he does on the footy field.
Yeah.
But playing alongside him, I've never heard him squeal like a pig. That's right.
Well, I just use that animal as sort of something that I've heard squeal. But
he does work hard. He works extremely hard in everything he does, and you see by the way he's sometimes crunched over with exhaustion. That's all we can ask from him, and he's excellent with the effort he gives.
Chris, you mentioned Sun Walters and also Clancy Pearce as being players who have been challenged. Another player I'm sure has been challenged, perhaps in different ways, because he's a very fit player, but I've been really pleased to see Garrick Ibbotson back into the lineup. I thought he's been really solid since he's come back in, and to me, he strikes me as a player who's far too talented to be playing WAFL football.
Yeah, look, Garrick's a great player, and he's a great leader. Starting to become a great leader of the club. He was challenged later in pre-season about some acts on the field, which we are all held account to, and he went away and played some really consistent waffle footy and was unlucky to get injured coming into the start of the season. But seeing as he's been back training and performing well on the training track, to get his opportunity and come out in the way he's played of late, it's been excellent, and we can ask nothing more of him. And as you saw on the weekend, he's been solid across half-back, as you said, going back with the flight, rebounding the football and delivering it inside forward 50, and having more players like him produce the efforts he has on the weekend would be great for our team, but also for the back line as well.
Last question. Obviously, it'd be remiss of us if we didn't ask you about the marking contest furore that has occurred this week. How's your understanding of it? Are you pretty clear on what you can and can't do in a marking contest?
Yeah, I think we're pretty clear. We have the umpires come to us each year before the season starts to go through all the rules, and as I see it, umpires and players are human and can make mistakes. And I think it's already been noted that it was an error of judgment. But like I said, it's football. It happens. There's that many decisions throughout the game that to leave it down to one on a game, you can't really do that. It's about a four-quarter effort, both from the umpires and the players, that determines the end result. So, yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's football in the end.
Good on you, mate. Thanks very much for joining us tonight. We appreciate it, and get a kick on the weekend.
No worries. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Good on you. Chris Mayne from Fremantle there.